beautiful good morning. A warm welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast Show today, Wednesday. And your host, I am Kaptula Afias. For 1 hour or so, we're going to be together discussing governance issues and among other current affairs. Well, health is our wealth. Just about now, we go into our first segment, which is the Health Corner.
Good morning and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubia Namfaya. So this week we are talking about anxiety disorder, and yesterday we talked about some of the types of anxiety disorder. We say that there is what we call generalized anxiety disorder, then there is also panic attack and social anxiety disorder, and also specific disorders. So today we'll talk about some of the signs and symptoms of anxiety disorders. Now, before we talk about some of the signs and symptoms, let me just briefly talk about the causes. People who have anxiety disorder usually it's caused by probably being in a situation where they were traumatized by a certain experience. So it could stem from trauma. So if someone has an experience where they were traumatized in a social situation and they were so embarrassed and they couldn't cope, or the response was so overwhelming for them, then they might develop social phobia, for example. Somebody who was traumatized because maybe they encountered a snake, they might have phobia to animals. And so these are phobias that can develop due to a certain trauma that occurred in a person's life. The other cause is that it might be genetic, for example. So if somebody would maybe develop a certain predisposition to have loss of esteem or depression, they might also have a tendency to have anxiety in certain situations. So they might have generalized anxiety where they feel anxious for different things, and they can't ride in a bus, they can't go out, they can't do certain normal things that people would normally do. They're afraid of being married, they're afraid of having children, they're afraid of owning a dog. So those are generalized anxieties, and these people would not only have one specific a fear or a phobia, but they would have a number of things that would affect them. So they could possibly have inherited a gene that could have caused them to have such behaviors. Then the other thing is alcohol abuse, drug abuse, caffeine can also predispose people to having anxiety disorders. Some of these drinks that we are taking, the alcohol, can actually lead to having anxiety disorders. So those are some of the causes of anxiety disorders, and usually the brain would produce hormones, or the body would produce certain chemicals that would overwhelm the body itself and overwhelm the person, and so that is how come they have this exaggerated fear towards certain objects or certain situations. Now, coming to the symptoms. So with generalized anxiety disorder, people with generalized anxiety disorder would have symptoms of being restless, symptoms of fear, symptoms of fatigue. So they would have fatigue, they would be restless, they would have difficulties sleeping, difficulties concentrating, and these symptoms would come about because they are having a lot of anxious thoughts, and they're having a lot of thoughts that maybe something would go wrong, and the fear is so overwhelming that they might even fail to function on a day-to-day basis. And usually these symptoms would have to be there for at least 6 months. So they come, they go, they come and go, and they come on most days in a week. So it's not every day. Maybe sometimes the person is just calm and they're okay, but maybe they are exposed to this situation and they have these fears. They have all these feelings of being restless, feelings of being losing control in those situations. So if those symptoms continue for about 6 months, then we would say that the person has generalized anxiety disorder. Then when it comes to panic attack, a person would usually experience symptoms of sweating. So they would have this, they'll start sweating so much, they have palpitations, their heart feels like it's racing, and they just can't focus in that at that point. So it's usually because of a specific a situation. Maybe they're about to write an exam, or they're about to travel, or they're about to deliver a speech, and they become very anxious, so they start panicking. So they would have sometimes they might even have a headache, they would have chest pain, abdominal pain, nausea, they might even develop diarrhea. So those are some of the symptoms that people with a panic attack would have. And these panic attacks can sometimes mimic a heart attack. So some patients would even think they are experiencing a heart attack because maybe they're having chest pain and they're having all these palpitations. But when you go to the hospital, they would most likely test you to see if you had any cardiac or heart problem, but there would be nothing. And the only way we can, the only thing that would make sense is that the person was having a panic attack in that situation. So those are some of the symptoms of people who would have a generalized anxiety disorder and even panic attacks. For specific phobias and social anxiety disorder, they would have the similar kind of symptoms where their heart is racing, they are restless, and they're sweating, and maybe feeling like they're losing control, out of control. And in those situations, so depending on the type of phobia it is, they would experience these symptoms. Depending on whether it's a social phobia or phobia for animals, they would experience those symptoms. So that is how you can differentiate generalized anxiety disorder from panic attack and also specific phobias. The other thing with generalized anxiety disorder, it would be there for about 6 months, while for panic attacks, it's usually in certain situations or certain social events or situations where a person has to write an exam or deliver a speech. With social phobia, it would be people who are about to attend an event, a wedding, a function, a party, and they become so afraid of meeting people or afraid of being embarrassed or being ridiculed in those situations. Then for people who would have specific phobias, it would be because they have encountered a specific animal or a specific situation which really makes them afraid and makes them get worried so much. So that is how you can tell the symptoms from each other. The other thing with generalized anxiety disorder, they would have sleep disturbances. So they can't sleep well at night on most days of the week, and they are struggling so much to sleep, and so they become fatigued and they become very tired. So I hope you have learned something today. If you miss any other episodes, you can watch them on my YouTube channel. Please invite your friends to watch The Breakfast Show and to learn a lot about health and other topics that are discussed on The Breakfast Show. I'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure you invite your friends. Stay blessed and stay healthy.
Anxiety disorders, I think these are some of the things that are relatable. It depends with the level of life, and many people can attest that you and I have felt anxiety disorders at a certain level in life, especially when we are doing an activity for the first time, or we are going to talk to an audience for the first time. And it's very important to know the causes of anxiety disorders. And of course, if you know that, you know how to also try and prevent them. It's very important that we are confident in whatever we are doing in life. Moving on just about now, let's go into the money markets. We see how the kwacha is faring. A lot of talk about the currency has continued. Just see what is happening this morning. There you have it. The US dollar is buying at 24 kwacha 55 ngwe, selling at 25 kwacha 04 ngwe. The euro is buying at 26 kwacha 45 ngwe, selling at 26 kwacha 97 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 31 ngwe, selling at 1 kwacha 33 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 30 kwacha 85 ngwe, selling at 31 kwacha 45 ngwe. Those are your money markets as at this morning's 7 hours. We do understand that those, they vary from bank to bank, and they're also not static. They change. They may change from time to time depending on market factors. Getting into the zooming in of stories this morning, and our topic of discussion this morning, we're looking at the role of chiefs in environmental protection arising from the arrest of a chief in Eastern Province. On Sunday, we saw that the police and also the Minister of Green Economy and Environment, the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, and also the forest, they did arrest a chief there for contravening the law in terms of timber harvesting and also subletting his licenses. Those allegations, rather, he was charged with those allegations, but we have seen that the story has gained traction. We saw on Monday that Patriots for Economic Progress President Sean Tembo did respond to that story. However, he was calling for the withdrawal of charges. Yesterday in the news, we had a governor's expert, Mr. Wesley Mianda, who was calling for environmental justice, fair environmental justice, calling on government to ensure that as they deal with these issues of environmental justice, there should be fairness. The way they deal with the chief, also there should be fairness in dealing with Forest 27, which is of the view that it has politicians linked to the same, and we have seen that there has been slow inertia in terms of responding to the Forest 27. Those are his views rather, and he said that since the chief was arrested, no one is above the law. Even the politicians must face the law, those who have built in Forest 27. So that is our topic of discussion today. However, we're looking at the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection. The phone lines are open. You can come in, you give us a call in terms of how do you think the traditional leaders, they are playing their role in terms of making sure that there is environmental protection in the country. You know that environmental protection cannot be left to government alone, and traditional leaders are the major custodians of land in Zambia. The major part of land is held by traditional leaders. Do you think our traditional leaders have been playing their role in terms of ensuring that our environment is protected? What is just their role in terms of environmental protection? So the phone lines are open. You can also utilize that number. There are also other ongoing issues in terms of load shedding. We have seen that the load shedding schedule has been staggered or rather spaced, divided. You can also use that word instead of just being a continuous 8 hours. We have seen that ZESCO has responded to some concerns by stakeholders, especially in residential areas, to ensure that load shedding is divided into 4 hours, 4 hours. How is it in your area? Are you seeing the 4 hours? We have seen also some complaints, especially on social media, where some citizens are saying they have been load shedding for 10 hours, 15 hours straight. You can also share that experience. Right about now, we are going into the topic of discussion. The first story that we have is where governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda has urged the government to address Forest 27 issue with the same seriousness demonstrated in the recent arrest of Chief Chikwa of the Senga people in Chama district. Chief Chikwa was apprehended on March 31st, 2024 for encroaching on a restricted game area and conducting timber cutting activities. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Mianda stressed that the need for government to fulfill its commitment over the forest and dismantle any structures erected within it, as it was an act of illegality. He has also called on chiefs in various chiefdoms to refrain from such activities, emphasizing their role as custodians of the land.
On Monday, 1st April 2024, President for Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP Sean Tembo, condemned the arrest of Chief Chikwa of the Senga people in Chama district, describing it as harassment, further calling for the withdrawal of all charges leveled against him.
We're concerned, and we wish to condemn in the strongest terms possible the arrest yesterday of Chief Chikwa of Chama district of Eastern Province for the alleged offense of cutting down trees in his chiefdom. We feel that this arrest was draconian and it amounted to harassment of the chief, because when you look at Chief Chikwa, you realize that his chiefdom lies almost entirely in the Chikwa game management area.
Chief Chikwa was apprehended on Sunday, 31st March 2024, for encroaching into a game-restricted area where he was cutting timber. This development has been received with mixed reactions, with the latest being from governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mianda has drawn parallels between Chief Chikwa's arrest and the Forest 27 case, emphasizing the need for the government to treat both cases with equal seriousness as they are not different.
You know, the land, and is also the custodian of law. So we are saying this one actually is a clear indication that no one is above the law. Having said that, I think we need to remind Zambians that we still have an issue related to the same case where we have Forest 27 in Chieftain's Commercial's chiefdom in Lusaka province, which has been shared by the same politicians. And we see from the way it go when UPND was in opposition, they promised the people of Zambia that they will come and reverse the transaction. They will come and reverse the deal by re-gazetting the forest to ensure that, you know, the national preserve is actually kept for the people of Zambia, because that is an underground, you know, water source for Lusaka province. So no one is talking about it now, because it's like most of these politicians are bloody stained when it comes to Forest 27. We are saying, when is this going to be handled? Because we want to see some kind of fairness in the way the rule of law is being applied.
Mr. Mianda has further urged the other chiefs to refrain from similar illegal activities to uphold the law as custodians of their communities.
And charging of Chief Chikwa of Chama district, Eastern Province, over the alleged cutting down of trees in the game management area makes a sad reading. It's unfortunate that no traditional leaders can be found in such situations. I think there is need for all our traditional leaders to look at this one as a wake-up call, just to ensure that they avoid certain things that will actually bring some kind of embarrassment, just as we have seen in the case of Chief Chikwa. Yes, we understand what, you know, game management area is, because this is part of, you know, what the community can benefit from. And now when you look at what has happened with the chief that has been arrested, of course we may have other issues surrounding the same, but all in all we are saying the chief actually is supposed to actually exhibit the highest, you know, discipline.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
That is the story which has birthed our topic of discussion this morning. We are looking at the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection, and there is a governance and human rights expert, Wesley Mianda, calling for fairness in terms of environmental justice, as well as urging chiefs to take a leaf from what has happened to Chief Chikwa, who was apprehended on allegations of violating in terms of encroaching the game management story, and others that are going to be zooming in. The phone lines are open, and share your views in terms of the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection, as well as other topical issues that have continued. And we're talking about the issue of load shedding. How are you faring with the issue of the staggered schedule which ZESCO has come up with? Moving on, in zooming headlines, we go to the issue of the Eurobond, where the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, has welcomed government's clinching of a debt restructuring deal with the Eurobond holders, with a call for a debt cancellation campaign on the President. Victor Mimba believes that while the restructuring deal is a positive step, the government should pursue debt cancellation especially for bilateral debts, as repayment remains a burden for the future. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Muyumba has since proposed the introduction of a program to restructure citizens' minds in order to enable them to contribute positively at this critical time where their input is needed. He has since urged Zambian citizens to support the government by working hard in whichever little way to ensure that the government is able to repay its debt. The National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPES, has added the Labour Movement's voice on the 2024 agreement between Zambia and External Bondholder Steering Committee on restructuring $3.5 billion of the country's Eurobonds. The deal, which had dragged, was finally announced Monday, 20th March 2024, bringing relief to the country.
And the agreement that has taken place, it's a significant milestone which should not be even underrated in any way. Even when it comes to political sentiment, I think it should be fairly be done.
Commenting on the deal, the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia has hailed government for achieving the 2024 agreement. NUPE's President Victor Muyumba has however urged government to push for debt cancellation on the bilateral debt as seen in the past with the Jubilee campaign.
So we should have the same campaign we had in the early 2000s of championing debt forgiveness or cancellation. And as a union, we still believe we can embark on this particular journey where bilateral debt is concerned, that these countries forgive us. They cancel the debt. That will be more sustainable than it is now. We do understand that those that were borrowing anywhere there was money or from anywhere, provided there was money. And the bondholders, these, Shylocks, if you like, might not go for debt cancellation.
Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Muyumba has however urged citizens to support government in the journey of paying back the debt by working hard to facilitate the generation of enough revenue in the country.
We can help the government by working hard in whichever sector we are. It's agriculture, it's education, it's tourism, it's mining, it's energy. Mention them. We need to work hard and become productive, because the more we produce, the more money we bring in.
NUPES has since advised government to embark on the mindset change campaign to inculcate attitude of hard work in Zambian citizens. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka. You're watching Camnet TV with me, Afias Kaptula, as your host for this morning, and we're just zooming in headlines in terms of stories that made our headlines in the news last night and this morning. You can be part of this program by reacting to those stories by utilizing the numbers on the screens. Remember that this morning we are looking at the topic of discussion, talking about the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection. This is emanating from the story that was aired on Sunday, where a traditional leader was arrested for alleged encroachment in a game management area regarding to timber harvesting activities. So you can come through and also share your views in terms of how traditional leaders can help in terms of environmental protection. We also have other trending stories. Of course, it is load shedding. You can share with us in terms of how the staggered schedule, especially in residential areas, is being handled. Is it being followed in terms of 4 hours in terms of ZESCO power cuts? Moving on in terms of stories, we're still in business, and the story that I have here is the Bank of Zambia boss has announced possession of Infest Trust Bank with effect Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. The possession has been necessitated by the bank's insolvency, which could not be resolved through numerous engagements with its stakeholders. In a statement obtained from its website by Camnet TV, BOZ says stakeholders have been unable to resolve the insolvency through recapitalization. The country's central bank says, pursuant to Section 64 of the Banking and Financial Services Act No. 7 of 2017, this is the BFSA, the Bank of Zambia has taken possession to safeguard financial stability and the interests of the public. BOZ says it's working with key stakeholders, including the government, on mechanisms for depositors not to lose any of their money. The bank has since urged all depositors to remain calm as implementation of the resolution mechanisms are being worked upon. So that is one of the trending stories that we saw yesterday, where the Bank of Zambia has repossessed Invest Trust Bank, citing insolvency, and it has taken a lot of twists, especially on social media. A lot of commentators. You can also have your view on this story, where we see that Invest Trust Bank follows suit. We saw that should be last year. We saw the Development Bank of Zambia suffering a similar fate, and now we have seen that Invest Trust Bank has suffered a similar fate. You can share your views, and of course we hope that in the course of the day we're going to get in terms of financial experts to comment on this issue. But you can have your say on this platform in terms of what you think can be done to prevent such issues, and also how this issue can be handled. As a regulator, rather, the law provides that the Bank of Zambia, which is BOZ, it moves in when a bank is in a financial stress, or it is bankrupt. Insolvency just means bankrupt. We have also seen that there are some jokes going around in terms of what the word insolvency means. But however, a simple term for insolvency is just bankruptcy. The bank can no longer function, and to preserve the interest and the monies of the depositors, the Bank of Zambia moves in as the law provides, pursuant to Section 64 of the Banking and Financial Services Act number 7 of 2017. The Bank of Zambia is allowed to carry out this act, which is lawful, and it is aimed at preserving the depositors' money as well as general public interest. Moving on, we look at reflections from the Easter holidays. We know that from the Easter holidays there are celebrations, there are those going to church, and there are those on trips going for holidays. However, from those activities, road accidents are the sad statistics which emanate from the holidays. And the Zambia Police, we did see the Zambia Police yesterday issue out statistics in terms of the Easter holidays accidents as well as deaths which were recorded. So 32 people have been killed in road traffic accidents during the 2024 Easter holiday out of 338 accidents recorded. Zambia Police spokesperson Ray Amonga says 26 were serious road traffic accidents, in which 59 persons were seriously injured, 78 were slight road accidents, in which 91 persons were slightly injured. Mr. Amonga says in comparison with the 2023 Easter holiday, 208 road traffic accidents were recorded as compared to 338 road traffic accidents recorded this year, translating to an increase by 130 road traffic accidents. Meanwhile, the police have summoned Florence Sorochi, a social media celebrity, following allegations of sexual assault that circulated on social media. Mr. Amonga says on 2nd April 2024, an interview was conducted in Cabo with Ms. Sorochi and the alleged victim, with details yet to be communicated to the public. So we can just get it from the Zambia Police spokesperson, who is Mr. Ray Amonga, as he is updating the nation with regards to road traffic accidents which were recorded during the Easter holidays.
Province recorded the highest number of road traffic accidents with 207, with 6 fatalities. Copper Belt recorded 28 with 2 fatalities. Central Province recorded 27 with 5 fatalities. Southern Province recorded 21 road traffic accidents with 2 fatalities. Eastern Province recorded 14 road traffic accidents with 2 fatalities. Luapula recorded 12 road traffic accidents with 9 fatalities. Western Province had 11 with only 1 fatality. Northwestern Province recorded 9 with no fatality. Muchinga Province recorded 6 and 5 fatalities, and Northern Province with 3 road traffic accidents with no fatality. The increase in road traffic accidents and casualties in 2024 Easter holiday have been attributed to various reasons. 1. Misjudging clearance distance with 25% of the accidents recorded, 15% constitute of excessive speed, 10% failing to keep to near side, 7% overtaking improperly, 6% failing to obey traffic sign, 5% as a result of cutting in, 4% pedestrians crossing or at a road on the road. The post on Facebook, an individual identified as Florence Solochi claims to be a victim of sodomy. Despite the seriousness of this allegation, the alleged victim has not formally lodged a complaint to the police. While we take all reports of criminal activity seriously, it is imperative that individuals come forward to provide formal statements and cooperate with authorities in order to properly investigate such matters. Without a formal complaint, it is challenging for law enforcement to fully investigate and take appropriate action. We today, as the Zambia Police Service, the 2nd of April 2024, did summon Florence Solochi for an interview in Kabwe, which details will be available to the public once investigations have been concluded.
There you have it. That is Zambia Police spokesperson Mr. Ray Amonga giving statistics in terms of road traffic accidents that were recorded during the Easter holidays. And as you have heard from that clip, we have an increase in road traffic accidents from 208 that were recorded in 2023 to 338 that were recorded this year. So we have seen an increase, and this calls for concerted efforts, especially among motorists who are the major culprits in this issue. We have seen that most of these accidents, the major contributor to these accidents is human error. So there's need that we continue to adhere to these traffic rules, as well as continue capacity building, because driving is also a skill. You should continue learning and also getting advice from RASA and other stakeholders who are in the transport sector to ensure that we save lives and avoid being statistics, because these are deaths and these are lives of people. They are breadwinners, and even the drivers themselves, many of them are breadwinners. And you see, when you die, you die sudden death from in a road traffic accident. It's very sad, and it leaves many people suffering. Sometimes you are injured. It disturbs productivity of the nation and also productivity at a family level. So it's very important that we continue reflecting on these issues. Do we have a caller? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, good morning. You are through to Camnet TV Breakfast Show.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, how are you? And your name, where are you calling from as well?
I'm calling you Garden. My name is Josh.
Okay. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, first, let me confirm how I thank you for just working in Garden. I think in Garden we are okay.
Okay.
In the 4 hours not certainly, because it has given ample time for our business to continue. You know, Garden is like an industrial area. I'm sure even you as well, you get some friends and window friends.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
the work done, people in Garden can at least find time to work.
Okay.
On road accident, I am a road safe ambassador, and it's given me a very bad rating. Looking at the statistics now, I don't know what we can do as a nation, as a people. We have tried to see where we have gone wrong as a people. I think most of us we lack sensitization. People lack sensitization on how we can care one another. Because when you see this accident, especially the main bus driver, that's where my passion is. You find that, imagine sure on 5 quarter, as I have been to a station, and where it's very dangerous. Like, if you give an example of the accident that happened from the Chingwele Paga. You know, part of this main bus driver now is to stop and just pick one for the 5 quarter. But all these means are usually put on LASA. LASA has been so reactant. Okay, we celebrated to say they have been given motor vehicles for patrol, but not as a result, because once we we put a lot of achievement as a country. We need to see some increase on the numbers of accidents. So you find that, because you know me as a person, the sensation that I'm talking about is that you know that I am supposed to be fined 300 kwacha if one time I get where there is no station. But you see, we are the ones who even stop anywhere so as we can be fixed because I'm rushing somewhere. So we are calling upon WhatsApp to increase sensitization so that people can understand what we are supposed to do on the road. And the other thing that has made this increment is phones. People are driving so careless while the concentration is on the phone. We have seen it even on these small roads in Lusaka, not in just the main way. You find that the woman was performed. What is happening? And the motorbike are because the concentration is on the phone. So what are we doing about that? It is something that personally me, I think I am passionate about it. We need to make free law accidents on these laws so as we save lives. We sometimes don't even put on the t-shirts that I've printed myself. Save lives by paying attention on the road. Save lives by driving accordingly. So people that are listening to Camnet, I know it has got widely coverage. We need to be the lifesaver by ensuring that we drive accordingly, we follow the traffic rules, we follow the traffic lights. Because even on the traffic lights, we also have to move on to 32. But what happens to where he is going? He doesn't really know, she doesn't really know. So we need to work together as a country.
One of our topic of discussion.
I heard about financial experts recommend debt structure. Let me speak as a politician. These are very educated people. Some are international experts and the like. But you hear from our colleagues who are calling themselves economists, especially from the opposition, lavishes the debt restructuring. I don't know where we are going as a country. I think we need to put on where it's due, so that we can give a positive mind to other people that are listening to us. To say, even if this is not the complete, but there is a positive that we need to expect as a country. Personal situation. Not that I am a UPN member. My expectation on safety structure is that to see things that changing. How is it going to change the life to the people of Ghana? How is it going to change the economy from that restructuring? Because I'm sure the whole government, headed by President Jaka, cannot start something that cannot improve the lives of the people. So let us not just criticize because we are in opposition, we want to show checks and balances. Let's put our heads together. We have only one country. When this country develops, everyone will celebrate. Even though those that will come after President Jaka, they need to find a country which is stable. Because the whole purpose is to govern. For now, we have 20 million people well. So who is not going to celebrate if this debt structure will bring positive change in the near future?
Mr. Chileshe, as you conclude, I want you to touch on the issue of the topic of discussion. We are looking at the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection.
Yeah,
just in maybe 30 seconds.
Like you would like to talk it, traditional leaders are custodians of land, are custodians of people. So number one, they need to understand what the country currently is grappling with. Okay? The country is grappling with the climate of change. It has not affected the chief from Rundazi or from Chama. No, it has affected everyone. So what does it mean? If you are a custodian of something, you need to pay attention attention. So if the chief is the number one destroyer, how is he going to sensitize the subordinates? We have seen that chiefs now are the ones in forefront of selling land, even where water reservoir is, this one is. So we are calling upon traditional leaders. You are the number one custodian of this land. So let's ensure that whatever government is trying to achieve, you get part as a traditional leader. I like the chief in central buildings who have been advocating about starting remotely. That's how it's supposed to be, especially from traditional leaders. I think
well, thank you very much, Mr. Chideshede. I think he qualifies to be the co-presenter. He has talked at length and he has expressed a number of views. You can do the same. You can also come through and share your views on this program. The topic of discussion, you're looking at the role of traditional leaders in the protection, in environmental protection. Before we called, we had the police there giving in terms of updates of road traffic accidents that were experienced during the Easter holidays. Moving on, the next story is Opposition Socialist Party leader Freddie Membe, who has charged that the debt restructuring plan offers little assurance for Zambians. Dr. Membe says the debt restructuring may delays the inevitable payment of current debts. The opposition leader explains that his party prioritizes national interest and aims not to capitalize on the government's failures. Meanwhile, Dr. Membe has criticized the focus on past administration's debts, highlighting the current administration's borrowing practices, which seem to be overlooked. The opposition leader was speaking shortly after his court appearance at Lusaka Magistrate Courts.
The debt restructuring. It may please us that our debt has been restructured or is being restructured, but it guarantees us nothing. It guarantees us nothing. We have not been paying any debts over the last 2.5 years, or almost 3 years. But we still have problems. Debt restructuring is not a debt write-off. They are just postponing the payments or restructuring the way you pay back your debt. You still have to pay. You were not paying over the last 3 years or so. Now you have to start paying something periodically. I don't know how that will improve our living conditions. I hope it will help. We wish the best for our people, for our country. We socialists are patriots. It starts with ownership. You have to start owning your economy so that you take care of your own destiny. What you don't own, you can't control. You can't manage what is not yours. You can make as much noise as possible as you can, but what you don't own, you can't control. You can only control what you own to a large extent.
You're watching Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Your host, I am Kapitula Afias, and we are in the segment of zooming headlines. There, that is Socialist Party President Dr. Freddie Membe, who is giving his view on the country's debt restructuring process. You can be part of the program by using the numbers on the screen. You call in and share in terms of your views over the stories. And our topic of discussion this morning, we're looking at the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection. You can also give us your views in terms of, or update us, like Mr. Isaac Cheshe has done. He has updated us in terms of how the staggered electricity load shedding schedule in residential areas by ZESCO is faring in your area. You can tell us how you are faring and how has it helped or has it worsened the situation. Moving on, we are moving to Western Province, where the Baroselo establishment has invited His Royal Highness Mwine Lubemba Paramount Chief Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II of the Bemba people to grace this year's Kumboka ceremony of the Rose people in the province. Ngambira Manyando Mukera said this when he addressed the media at Mlunga Royal Palace Tuesday. Mr. Manyando says the integration visit exchange fosters peace and unity in diversity as people tend to learn various cultures in the country. Let's have that clip from Western Province.
Is approaching. There are a lot of expectations from people about the event. At this year's ceremony, the Barroso Royal Establishment, as among others, revealed that Paramount Chief Chitimukulu Kanyatamanga II of the Bemba-speaking people will be the guest of honor at this year's Komboka ceremony slotted for 20th April 2024. Barroso Royal Establishment Ngambira Manyando Mkela has disclosed during a press briefing at Limunga Royal Palace in Limunga district of Western Province. He added that the exchange visit for traditional ceremonies embrace unity among chiefdoms.
The Barroso Royal Establishment is delighted to inform the public that at this year's Komboka ceremony, the guest of honor will be Mwine Lubemba, Chitimukulu Kanyatamanga II. May I take this opportunity to explain that cultural exchanges among traditional systems in Zambia are critically beneficial to the country. They must be encouraged and supported. They help enhance regional understanding and ethnic coexistence. They engender stability in the country and bring about unity in diversity. I appeal, therefore, to our local host community in Barrosland to give our usual hospitable welcome to our visiting guests.
And Ngambira Mkela is appealing to the people in the kingdom to utilize the canals initiative as exhibited by ancestors.
Because of their effort, because of their innovation, we are able to conduct our Komboka ceremony along the canals that they constructed a long time ago. To the people here in Barrosland and elsewhere, always to try and find answers to issues that seem to be out of their control.
Meanwhile, Chamber of Commerce and Industry Secretary Samuel Ritebere and Mungu FM Director Mkiariwena also added a word towards the Komboka ceremony.
I expect that as he is coming, I'm sure our business is going to improve, is going to boom a bit because we need more people coming in. As they come in, I'm sure they're going to spend some money on accommodation, on food.
As we enjoyed our time in Bembaland, they welcomed us well, and we learnt a lot from them in terms of cultural exchange and a lot more. So I think it's the right time now for them to also come and learn from our side, and we hope to host our
Mosieva Kabira, Camnet News in Limurunga District, Western Province.
The Komboka ceremony of the Rose-speaking people of Western Province is on, and that is an update from the loyal establishment there in terms of who is going to grace the ceremony as a guest of honor. And it has been disclosed that Chief Chitimukulu Mwine Lubemba is going to be the guest of honor at the ceremony, and also their expectations of business in terms of the business community. They are expecting a business boom. There were fears of the ceremony not being held due to climate change, which has not seen water levels as expected. However, we have heard there the Ngambira saying there are some innovative ways that have been discovered, that have been explored, rather how the ceremony is going to be held, also utilizing the canals which were built a long time ago by the ancestors there. Moving on, we are back in Lusaka, in Kalikiriki, where Kalikiriki Ward Councillor Shadek Chimwanga has expressed gratitude to a well-wisher who has embarked on the expansion project of a mobile health facility in the area to construct a maternity ward. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Chimwanga says the development, when actualized, will positively impact the lives of residents who currently have been facing challenges in accessing healthcare services. Meanwhile, Cynthia Simudenda, a resident of Kalikiriki, says the development will alleviate challenges faced by pregnant women during childbirth.
Access to healthcare services is paramount for the well-being of individuals and communities, as it ensures timely diagnosis, treatment, and preventive care, ultimately improving health outcomes and quality of life. However, the absence of adequate healthcare services in a locality with numerous neighborhoods can have severe repercussions, as it may exacerbate health disparities, particularly among marginalized populations who may already face socio-economic challenges. This is the case of residents in Kalikiriki compound who have been grappling with the effects of not having a healthcare facility within their locality. But through a well-wisher, the residents now have a glimmer of hope as the construction of a maternity ward and expansion of their mobile health facility has taken effect.
Behind me, this is the only health facility that caters for all these places that I've mentioned. For so many years, people have been suffering. This health facility you are seeing behind, it closes around 18 hours. So when you are sick around 23 or 24, you have to go to Mtendere. Maybe if our mothers are expecting, they're about to deliver, they have to go to a neighboring clinic, Charleston, Baoleni or Kalingalinga, to access their health services. So it has been so unfortunate until a well-wisher came through for us to come and do the maternity wing, because women deliver on their way to their clinic. Why? Because they go to far distances. So the coming up of this maternity wing, it will actually assist our women here in Kalikiriki ward to just be accessing their health services just close to their doorstep.
One of the residents, Cynthia Simudenda, has hailed the help rendered to the community, especially after challenges faced by pregnant mothers during childbirth.
Like kuno population ya kuno ikalinga Kalikiriki and Mtendere East. Then ibantu ni bambiri manini. Kumtendere kliniki ni kutari. Then kuno muntu ngatadwara usiku. Nishini kubukinga kwenda ku Mtendere kliniki. Manja akapezeka ati muntu alipenda rama ni mavuto manini. So kuno kliniki ikakura izatitandizira wanu kuri bama mimba. Oro mimba ya uka ni pafupi hapa muntu angaende abwera papira kuno. Then bo dwara usiku muntu angadware akadwara angabwere kuno kliniki mame bati mangira kliniki. So nchoko ndweresa maningi tinamvera bwino maningi kuti chipatara chatu chimangiwa.
Another resident has expressed delight over the development.
Tinakukira kuno first tense of futika. Tenzo using acha Mtendere every time. Sometimes muzapeza msimai mimba ya huko kutafika ku Mtendere asafira na mchidai. So famene wachita ipita kondola maningi kutiletera leba pafupi pana. Pana muswati Mtendere is big ni chimuzi chikuru kutoka hapa paka kusalama park. Maiona so bakaleta leba nishimwatitandiza abantu sibazambo kufa maningi mwamene wezo fera kudala. Musapeza muntu alina mimba alina bleeding pakuti afike kuja kumtendere nishi blood jasira afela na munjirai.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
We are in the dying minutes of the Camnet TV breakfast show, and those are stories we have been zooming in. And you can be part of the program still, even the few minutes. You can utilize the numbers on the screen. You call in and give us your view, the topic of discussion. We are looking at the role of traditional leaders in environmental protection, as well as other issues, especially issues of road shading. You can update us how your area is faring in terms of road shading. Have you seen improvement with the staggered schedule? And also, just how are you faring in terms of if you're running a small business? You can update the nation through this platform. This weekend promises to be a sporting weekend, and as we end the show, we would love to go into the sport segment where we know that the Zambia women's national team, the Shiporo are going to be taking on Morocco in the decider, the home and away fixture of the decider for the one to decide the one who is going to go to the Olympic tournament in France. So we saw that Zambia managed to edge past Ghana, and so on this Friday we're going to have the Zambia women's national team facing Morocco. So the story here is that the Zambia women's national team coach Bruce Mwape says the team is ready to face the Atlas Lions of Morocco for the Paris 2024 Olympic qualifier final round first leg match scheduled for Friday 5th April 2024 at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Douala. Mr. Mwape says only 3 foreign-based players are missing and all the local players are already in camp preparing for the game. He adds that Margaret Belemu and the rest of the team that recently came back from military training will not be part of the game as they need to regain fitness for their clubs. Speaking in a telephone interview with Zanis, Mr. Mwape said the foreign-based players Rachel Kundananji and Priska Chirifia are expected to join the team, which was Tuesday. Mwape further added that the team has been in camp since last week and is confident that the Queens are ready for the game. So it promises to be a sporting weekend. We also have some boxing where we have the Oriental Quarries boxing promotions. They are also hosting a tournament at Government Complex with the main belt being fought between David Mwale and James Mungeni. So it is a sporting weekend. We are seeing that the Copper Queens they're in action, and also the boxing tournament. So you look out for these events and also make sure that you entertain yourself. You choose which one to attend. If you can go to Ndola, you drive to Ndola. If you can be at Government Complex, look out for their boxing tournament. And we're also going to be in our news bulletin. We're going to be running in terms of updates. Today we hear that the main opponent in the main bout is going to be in at 9 hours today. So we'll have that. We'll continue updating you on the stories and also get reactions as well on the Zambia game where the Shipolopolo are going to be facing the Atlas Lions in Douala. From myself and also the director there, Mr. Isaac Chifita, this is where we have come to the end of this program. Thank you very much for watching and also for participating, not forgetting our online audience. We thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. Till next time, this has been Appias Kaptula. Bye for now. Keep watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.